Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Yes, here we go. Follow the Money, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Pauly Howard, John Jastremski, loaded show coming up. Tip jar. You guys were ready to go. Excellent. A lot of Spain tickets that we'll see. Adam Chernoff getting involved in the fun as well. Top 5 Tuesday in 10 minutes. It's a banger. A great MLB card. Can the Red Sox keep it going? Brad Powers, hardcore college football. Week 1, win totals, playoffs, ton of futures, SEC, Big Ten, Big Bad Brad, double shot, and Tony Rizzo. We thought the announcement was coming up tonight with LeBron. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow morning, day 22. But there is a bet to be made. If he goes to Cleveland, we'll get the breakdown from Rizzo coming up. And Will Hill checking in on the Yankees, some futures, Red Sox talk as well. And we'll go after JJ here in about 5 minutes based on something he said yesterday as well. So a couple winners yesterday. Fun show. Good job with the Yankees. Do we want to back the Red Sox again? Fingers crossed they get the game in. Suarez has already been scratched, trying to tie the franchise record, 15 wins in a row, which they did in 1946. It's always fun. Some people don't like it. The hell, go to hell. The rollover parlay, you're up over $550,000. Since 2003, Cleveland won 22 in a row in 2017, and the Cardinals won 17 in a row in 2021. Can Boston get to 15 in a row, JJ? And what a turnaround after they were 32 and 46, and they could not score, and the sky was falling, and the fans were furious and couldn't take enough, and nothing was working with what Boston was doing. And now they are in the playoffs if they started today.
It's one of the more remarkable turnarounds you're ever going to see. Super impressed by what I've seen with the Red Sox. I thought they were dead and buried. It's amazing, Paulie. My Yankees basically brought them back to life. They had that dreadful series, Boston, against the Colorado Rockies. Then the Yankees come to town. They beat Schlittler on a Thursday night, and they go and sweep the 4-game series. And let's be perfectly honest, since that point in time, the Red Sox have not looked back. So, yes, what they're doing is sustainable. Yes, there's an excellent chance they're going to find their way into the postseason now because the American League is so bad. Mm-hmm. But you asked me the question regarding this winning streak. And I do so remember betting on that Cleveland Indian team at the time in 2017. That was fresh off their World Series appearance. Mm-hmm. And when they won those 22 games in a row, I think everybody and their mother thought Cleveland was going to go and win the World Series. They had a 2-0 lead on the Yankees. They lost 3 games in a row. So sorry for the history lesson, but it's on mine, so I'm bringing it up. But let's not beat around the bush. Let's get to tonight's game. I love the Orioles before the Suarez news.
Okay.
I like the Orioles even more, Paulie, after the Suarez news. Listen, Ranger Suarez is an absolute stud. The Phillies miss him a great deal. He's a gamer. He's a warrior. He could pitch for my team any day of the week. But you could have gotten Baltimore in like the plus 120 range, give or take. Now it's basically an even money split. And Bradish is throwing the ball great for the Orioles. Let's not ignore the fact that Baltimore has really played some good baseball over the last few weeks. I know the Red Sox are going to get the headlines and they're going to get the attention, and they've played better. But if you also look at Baltimore, they've kind of slowly but surely gotten themselves back into this race. And, you know, I've faded the Red Sox once or twice in this win streak here. I'll probably go after them again if they go and win and they make it 15 games in a row. But, Paulie, I will not be on the Red Sox tonight. So, sorry. The streak will be over. When I chat with you on Thursday, buddy boy,
okay.
Maybe we're talking about a different streak. It will not be the Red Sox tonight.
All right. The 46 Red Sox won over 100 games. And the streak just coming out of nowhere. 32 and 46, 3.9 runs a game. ERA was almost 4. 19 and 2 cents. 5.3 runs a game. ERA of 2.50. 9 comeback wins in this stretch. How about this during a winning streak? They've hit 22 home runs and allowed 29 runs. So, you know, is it too late to jump in, whatever? So, who knows how long this can go? And I'm glad you brought up the Guardians, the Indians, the streak that they had as well, even though you think they go down tonight. They are saying the right things about how we want this. We want to tie the record. We want to break the record. But just a team that was so bad and out of it, and also how the future odds have switched and moved big time. Division, pennant, all that coming out of nowhere in this run. It's unbelievable. And also doing it against good teams. You mentioned how it started with the Yankees, but Baltimore was hot. They came in winners of 7 in a row. I know you're right about ripping the American League, but still, 51-48, they are a playoff team right now. And now from plus 650 to now minus money to make the playoffs now and a favorite to make the playoffs. Incredible what they've done.
Well, and if you look at the league odds, they're now 10-1 to win the pennant. They're 25-1 to win the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
They're 9-1 still to go and win the division. So the odds makers, Paulie, are not there yet as far as Boston. Yes, impressive run. Yes, they're probably going to be a playoff team. But do they have enough between now and the end of the year to go and chase down the Yankees, who are going to get healthier and are going to add some bodies, Fried and Rodon, to that rotation?
Mm-hmm.
At some point in time, they're going to have Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton back in the lineup. They also might go and add a bat between now and the August 3rd trade deadline. So Yankees will be heard from here. Tampa's always a pin in the neck to play. My feeling is if you miss the Red Sox on this ride and you didn't hop on a week and a half ago, you're almost better suited, in my opinion, Paulie, waiting for them to go and lose like 3 out of 5 games to go and get some better numbers. Because right now you're buying them at like the highest point they've been at in months, for goodness sakes.
Yeah. Will Hill coming up in 20 minutes. So a good breakdown, interesting take on Ben Exactas involving Boston and what he thinks from future standpoint coming up a little bit later. You want to come right back with the Phillies at home against the Dodgers and how great Wheeler's been and been unhittable since the All-Star snub and what he's done. Got a winner yesterday. Turner came alive at the plate after he was booed with a couple errors. But again, I think the bats will be there, and they're playing so well under Mattingly. And I think, now there are a lot of guys who have good numbers against Wheeler in this LA lineup, but he has been so hot and pitched so well. When you look at this price as well, where you're going to get $1.15 with Wheeler and what he's done. 1 run in the last 13 innings, 24 strikeouts. Phillies are 13-2 when he starts.
So, Paulie, Phillies were good to me 24 hours ago. You had them. I had them. Family play. We love the sound of that. There's not going to be a family play if you're not riding with the Los Angeles Dodgers, because I'm taking the Dodgers here. You mentioned some of the good career numbers some guys in this lineup have against Zach Wheeler. I also want to mention their starting pitcher in Robleski. He's throwing the ball great all year. He's one of the best pitchers that nobody talks about within the sport. He has come out of nowhere. He knows how to change speeds, but yet he can go and dial it up when he needs to go and dial it up. And he's pitching to an ERA south at 3.5. I think this is a play. You got to be on the Dodgers here. Look at the way this line has moved too, Paulie. This line was $1.25, $1.28. Now you've seen it over at Circus Sportsbook at -115. It's going to be a Dodger play for me. And listen, the Dodgers, they make a reputation, that lineup, of making some of the best in the business have to grind it out and have to work. Watch that with Zach Wheeler tonight, where Zach Wheeler has to throw a ton of pitches. He has trouble putting guys away, and the Dodgers off a loss are ready to go. I'm going to take the Dodgers. Give me the plus money. And it feels dirty because the Phillies were so good to me yesterday. But you know this, Paulie boy, it's day to day. That's the way we approach it, man. Day to day.
Yeah, Freeman's got great numbers against some career as well, so we're opposites on that game. And I want to give you full marks to what you said yesterday, and I think this is a solid take by you. The Friars are going to make moves at the deadline, and they lost again. Fangraphs now, they give the Padres less than 10% chance to make the playoffs. And you bet adjusted win total under 81.5 wins. I think that's the way to go and a way to attack it. And this is what a nightmare season for San Diego to be this bad and under 500. And you're right. They're going to be sellers coming up in 2 weeks at the deadline. So I think that's a good number and a good bet you made.
Well, the team is not any good. A run differential, Paulie, tells you a lot about these teams. That's why I'm still bullish on Detroit, that they can make some noise in the American League Central, because if you look at their run differential, they've played much better in their record. They had a terrible month. They had a bunch of close losses. They had a month and change where Tarek Skubal didn't pitch. Now you're starting to see the Detroit Tigers, the team we expected to see at the beginning of the year. I bring that up because the Padres' run differential is atrocious. They're actually fortunate to be only 2 games under 500. I think they're a rotten team, and they have a general manager who, yes, has been very, very aggressive as far as, hey, I'm looking to go and buy people. By the same token, I think he's going to be very aggressive this time around to go and sell some guys. Now, I don't know if those veterans in the lineup, you're going to be able to get anything for them. But as far as Mr. Mason Miller, I think you're going to have a whole lot of teams, Paulie, including my beloved New York Yankees, lining up to go and get him. Maybe a team like the Pirates, too, looks at Mason Miller and says, you know what? We got a loaded system.
Yeah.
We haven't been in the playoffs in forever. We can go and get this guy for the next couple of years and have him lock down our ninth inning. Let's go and do it. But buckle up. Under 81.5, my only regret, Paulie, is I wish I had more money on it. I have, it's not enough.
Yeah.
It's a winner.
I like the Braves tonight, too. That seems like a good bet and a good price at $1.40 tonight as well with all the Padres issues. So, if you watched the Phillies-Dodger game last night on ESPN, this was great, and we'll kick it around coming up next on Top 5 Tuesday. A lady tweeted at Joe Buck, how about you try to be impartial while announcing the game? And Buck responds, just so I can sleep tonight, what game do you think I'm doing at the moment? The Phillies game on ESPN? I think I'm having a hell of a call right now on the game, don't you? And it... I've done a 180 on this guy, but also I wonder how many times this happens where people think they're watching a game and they get the announcer wrong or they criticize it for, you're a homer and what that. I thought that was a great response from Buck. So people in the entertainment field that you've done a 180 on over the years, it's a fun list and it'll be fun to kick around coming up next on Top 5 Tuesday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM, Channel 158. Follow the money, baby. So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's a top
You ain't first, you're last.
5
That's not enough, Dad!
Tuesday.
I've been ready for this my whole life.
Top 5 Tuesday.
Dollar bills, y'all.
On Follow the Money.
Positive or negative? Announcers, broadcasters, anyone in the entertainment field, athletes that you've done a 180 on. I came around on Joe Buck. I thought it was a hilarious tweet last night, but I thought a lot of people don't like him. I thought he was tough to take coming up, but this will be an interesting list, JJ. Kick it off. How do you want to attack it as you're a positive guy here with your top 5 list, Top 5 Tuesday?
Well, first things first, Paulie, I am glad that you've finally come full circle on Joe Buck, who is absolutely tremendous across the board. So I don't know what took you so long, for goodness sakes. That's number one.
Okay.
My top 5 list. We got to start with number 5. I know he makes $1 zillion. I know a lot of people can't stand him. When he first came onto my radar, I'm like, who is this guy? Enough already. And now I just love the Stephen A. Smith experience. I do. Listen, I think you have to understand for what it is. And there are going to be a lot of people who are envious and jealous. And listen, I'm a little jealous, too, of the bankroll he's bringing in on a daily basis. But I appreciate a guy who is the ultimate character across the board. So number 5 on this list, even though he's not a play-by-play guy, I gave you Stephen A. Smith. Number 4 on this list, and this guy ended up having an all-world broadcasting career.
Yeah.
But when he did Sunday Night Baseball and he was doing Yankee games, he used to drive me crazy with the Carlos Beltran and some of the home run calls. But he's a legend, and by the time he wrapped up at ESPN, and then I'd hear him do San Francisco Giant games, I go, man, I really miss John Miller. So, John Miller, I apologize for all of the years I used to mock Carlos Beltran.
Mm-hmm.
I miss you on Sunday Night Baseball. We got 3 to go. Who do we have at number 3? Number 3 is Chris Collinsworth.
Ooh, good one.
Because Chris Collinsworth, for me, when he first came up, I felt like he wouldn't shut up. Takes one to know one. I understand. I felt like he was trying to reinvent analysis as far as how he was trying to teach you the game of football. But then you realize this guy is just like a football junkie nerd. He played. He gets so into it. It's hard not to respect it. So, Chris, I love you, buddy, and I apologize that I was a little harsh on you from the beginning.
Good one.
Number 2. Oh, this is a great one. Because when Gus Johnson was calling Sorrentine from the parking lot and Syracuse is losing to Vermont, I'm like, can this guy shut up? Then he goes and does a Syracuse Butler game when Syracuse was a number 1 seed, and I got to deal with the yelling and screaming. Now I can't get enough of the yelling and screaming. Again, very similar in a way that, like, hey, you got to accept Stephen A. Smith for what he is. You got to accept Gus. It's not going to be called the way Mike Tirico or the way an Iron Eagle is going to do a game, or Sean McDonough for that matter. But you're going to get all the entertainment in the world, and that to me comes full circle. And then last but not least would be Tim McCarver, the late, great Tim McCarver, who I used to believe in my heart of hearts as a kid, hated the Yankees, had an agenda against the Yankees.
Yeah.
I used to have all of these like deep-rooted issues when he was doing games throughout the 90s as the Yankees were going through their dynasty run. And then as his career evolved and I grew up a little bit, I'll tell you when's the moment I officially came full circle on my McCarver apology tour. When I went to college, Pauly, and I had Red Sox buddies living next door to me. And they were like, oh, this Tim McCarver, he hates the Red Sox. And I looked at them and I go, he hates the Red Sox? I go, I thought he hated the Yankees my entire life.
Yeah.
That was the moment it kind of clicked.
Hilarious.
Like, oh,
yeah.
there you go.
Very
full
good.
circle. So I hope you like that list. I kept it positive. I don't want any negative karma for the bets today. So if you want to go negative, you want to turn on some guys, be my guest. But I'm dying to hear your thoughts.
Oh, yeah. I got a couple. Right. So it ties into the Joe Buck tweet last night, which was fantastic. And it's like, if you watch a game, the announcer's always against your team. Honorable mention, Tony Romo. Negative. Everyone loved him coming up. And
Tony needs to do some work in the offseason.
Yes.
Listen,
definitely,
let's call it like it is.
Definitely.
Tony needs to get back in the lab. You know, like when Rocky had to rediscover the eye of the tiger in Rocky 3? Tony Romo's got to get back to this, like, fun, exuberant, unbelievable analyst that he was the first couple of years of his career. Paulie, I mean, all you need to know, give me Olsen, give me Collinsworth, and without a doubt, give me Aikman. The Buck Aikman team is the best announcing team in the NFL.
You got it, buddy.
Best.
Number 5, Peyton Manning. I thought you play in a dome. Your first Super Bowl win was against Rex Grossman. The comeback against the Patriots when that team wasn't that good, but the Patriots blew the big lead. But also the personality that we saw once he retired. Also how he ended his career in Denver. I did a 180 on Peyton Manning on and off the field. That's positive. Okay, number 4, Barry Bonds, which I know he had the size of Mr. Met. He was the best player in baseball when he was with Pittsburgh. But still, those numbers he put up in San Francisco, where if it was remotely close in the strike zone, it was leaving the ballpark. So Bonds, positive, 180, number 4. Number 3, tied in together. I love when they're on a game. I thought Aikman was weak when he started. I didn't like Buck. Buck and Aikman are phenomenal. And also, Aikman doesn't give a rat's ass. He goes after the officials. He goes after the league. He rips the Cowboys every chance he can get. Those two are a terrific tandem. I've done a 180 on that group as well. Number 2, this is negative. Inside the NBA crew, the whole crew, this whole back in my day business, still doing, the league was so good in the 90s, ripping today's product and they're out of their minds. The basketball analysis is subpar, and Barkley's still doing it. Well, if Curry played in the 90s, he wouldn't last and he'd get hurt. They wouldn't cover him. He'd torch the league and average 40 a game. No one could shoot back in the 90s. Curry would average 40 a game, Charles. What are you talking about? And this is a big one. This hurts me. I got in the business because of 3 people. Brent Musburger, Howard Cosell, and Howard Stern. I bought both books. I went to the movie. I watched listened to every radio show. I even watched the show on Channel 9 growing up. I cannot believe what happened to Howard Stern and what he turned into. And to think that this guy, and I know it's difficult now where you just search anything you want on the internet and something will come up. So how are you a shock jock once you see the internet explode? But the guy who would have all these characters on the show and go after Hollywood and anti-Hollywood, it was number 1 at the same time in L.A., New York, and Philadelphia, that then would become friends with Ellen DeGeneres and then embrace Hollywood. And beyond me, how you would think it's a good idea to put down or denigrate half your audience and getting political on a daily basis. Unfortunate, and I can't believe what happened to Howard Stern. Top 5 Tuesday. Positive, negative, people in the entertainment field. Good stuff, good turnaround. I love what Buck has done. I love Buck and Aikman, and I like your list as well, even though you went positive. But I think we agree, though, too, that Romo honorable mention is good as well. That he started out so high and everyone loved him.
I'm so glad now, Paulie, that you've come full circle on Buck and Aikman. And you're right about Aikman. When he first started, I didn't think he'd be this good as an analyst.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, his first year was pretty rocky compared to, like, Tony Romo's first year or two. Now, there's nobody else I want doing a game. Like, if there's a big game for Paulie Howard and he's got a massive bet on the game and he's going to dial in and have the sound on and he's going to be in his element in his man cave in his den, come on. You want Buck and Aikman doing the game, do you not?
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm with you. And the fact that there's so many announcers or analysts that are afraid to rip the official. And Aikman goes right after him.
Or the players.
That's absolutely.
Or the coaches. Because they're all buddies with one another.
Right. Good point. Good point. And the fact that he was a legend with the Cowboys and he rips Jerry Jones, even though they're friends. But I don't understand some of the moves they're making, the trades, and to think the guy does work and consulting work with the Miami Dolphins and not the Dallas Cowboys. And I love that he rips the Cowboys on a regular basis as well, what he says. But I'm surprised you were a Buck fan all the way. Because there were a lot of things that, and even McCarver too, that you were a McCarver guy all the way. I thought Tim was good, but I thought Tim explained the game like you were watching a baseball game for the first time ever. I thought that's how he treated the audience.
At times, yes, but I think there was a certain level of second guessing that he brought to the table that you don't get enough from a lot of these baseball analysts right now. I mean, for the same reason. Relationships. Nobody wants to ruin a relationship because they're around the game. Timmy didn't really care. He'd get in there, he'd shoot it straight. Took me a while to see it, but he did.
Win-lose coming up. WNBA overs, a perfect 4-0 last night again. We'll recap what happened in Major League Baseball. Also, Tony Rizzo with a LeBron update. It won't be today. We gambled. We took a shot. I thought it was going to happen tonight. Maybe the announcement coming tomorrow. And when the announcement is made, there'll be a bet that we can make on a futures market with LeBron, and a double shot with Brad Powers as well. Hardcore college football coming up. All the bets he's made, the most transparent sports bettor that's out there. Will Hill up next. We'll go over the MLB card and a couple futures he wants to make regarding the Red Sox. That's straight ahead on Follow the Money, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, live circa downtown, where it all goes down. Sirius XM, channel 158.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. Good to have you. Pauly and JJ. Mitch on vacation all week. Fun show coming up. Tony Rizzo, Brad Powers, win-lose. Tip jar is open. You guys were ready. Some creativity and a lot of tickets that have cashed. We'll do that in about 45 minutes. Will Hill joins the program now. And a lot of bets to go over. It's on the progressive guest line. Appreciate the time, my man. So the Red Sox going for 15 in a row tonight. How about some creative ways at DraftKings? The market ALCS exact matchup. It's a bad American League. Red Sox would be in the playoffs if they started today. They're on fire. How about throwing some beer money on some of these exactas, if you can walk us through what you're thinking here?
Yeah, I finally did it. And you can actually do this at FanDuel too. You just go under leagues and it says name the finalist. But I've just been saying, these three teams, I've been mentioning these three teams for a couple weeks now, and I finally just stopped yapping about it and found a creative way to play it where, the Yankees, the Rays, the Mariners, these teams at the top of the board, flawed favorites, I think is the proper term for these teams. And we'll see what happens with the deadline. But the Orioles, the Tigers, the Red Sox, when I started talking about the Red Sox, and JJ knows I was doing the show with him last Sunday, 22-1, 25-1 to win the American League. Tigers were in the 30-1 range. Orioles were in the 40-1 range, 50-1 if you shop around. those prices come down because they've been hot. But if you just put ALCS exact matchup, Tigers, Red Sox, Tigers, Orioles, Orioles, Red Sox, Orioles, Red Sox at FanDuel to meet in the ALCS is 200-1. Orioles, Tigers is 200-1. And then Red Sox, Tigers is 80-1. Now you got to worry they don't run into each other before the ALCS. They knock each other off. That's part of the bet. But hey, you're getting paid out a hell of a price tag. And I know some people have said, hey, why not the White Sox? Throw them in there. I'm cool. I think anything where you're fading the top of the board, Yankees, Red Sox, Yankees, Mariners, and Rays, and you're taking a shot at these long odds, I think it could be a wacky year where some of these teams get in and anything can happen. The Tigers, the Red Sox, the Orioles, these teams are as dangerous as anyone. I know the Orioles, the pitching's not great. You wish their bullpen was a little better and got more strikeouts. That's certainly a weakness, but I think those numbers at 200-1, 180-1, all those numbers, and of course, shop around, try to find the best one. I think those are worth, like you said, throwing some beer money, throwing some pizza money, just because anything can happen. And the Yankees, who knows what Judge is going to be back. The Mariners don't scare you. I think it's a really, really watered down and wide open American League.
Good case.
Okay, that's fair, Will. I think you missed the boat, though, if you didn't get the Red Sox. I know you got juicy numbers on them at 10-1. Wait for them to lose a couple of games here. They're eventually going to lose a couple of games, and you'll get yourself a better price. I can't get there with the Orioles because the pitching is atrocious. It's absolutely atrocious. I just can't see the Orioles now getting deep into this postseason. However, you can get me on board, Mr. Will Hill, with the Detroit Tigers, because look at their run differential. Had a very dramatic win 24 hours ago in Wrigley against the Cubs. They are right there with Valdez today against Peterson. I'm staring at 25-1 to win the pennant. I think the odds to win the AL Central are still super, super juicy. Would you advise the listening audience to hop on some Detroit futures at this point in time?
I think anything that's not the top of the board of the American.
Okay, we lost the Will. We'll get him back. Other things he was looking at today on the card, he likes the Reds. Burns has been awesome. I like that as well. I do like the Braves, but he wants to go Atlanta and the Padres over 9. And also, that's what he had on the card so far with MLB, was to try to get Will coming up in a little bit. So he was on this as well, and I know you're a little bit concerned, and we'll get your NFL futures coming up in about 20 minutes, JJ. You've got to be freaked out with how popular the Cincinnati Bengals are. You got to
freaked
come
out
on.
is an understatement,
Yeah,
Paulie.
yeah.
It makes me sick. You know this. I hate siding with public plays. You hate siding with public plays. It gives me the ick. It makes me cringe. And I was very proud of myself last year that I was out on Cincinnati because they were super trendy. And the year before, remember, they finished up the season. They went 9-8. Joe Burrow had this unbelievable statistical year, and they couldn't even make the playoffs. I said to myself last year, I'm not betting them. I'm betting them unders. I think the defense stinks. I don't love their head coach, and I'm out on them. However, this year, with the Cleveland Browns being in rebuilding mode, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, to me, looking cooked, old, and washed with the coaching change they've made, Aaron Rodgers is a corpse at this point in time. I think Cincinnati, with a soft schedule and an improved defense, is going to go and win double-digit games. And I hate how public it is. And I know that they're a team that a lot of people are going to be lining up at the circle window to go and bet in the Super Bowl, the conference, what have you. I'm siding with Joe Public on this one, Paulie. I like the Bengals.
Yeah. We got Will Hill back. Will, what do you think? It was a lot of Cincinnati love in the VSiN NFL betting guide as well. Are you concerned with all the pro-Cincinnati stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm more concerned, like JJ said. Burrow just never seems to be healthy. The defense, I'll see it when I believe it. It's the same with the Cowboys, where, all right, they're going to be better this year. They're going to be average. I got to see it first. And Burrow, look, they made the Super Bowl one year in 21, and then 22, they were a play away from going back-to-back Super Bowls, which is crazy. This is 3 years in a row they've missed the playoffs. Burrow's been hurt. The defense has been bad. I don't love the coach, so look, I get always people taking a shot at the number, but I got to see it to believe it. I'm not in on Cincy.
Yeah, co-sign on the coach, no doubt. SEC Media Days roll on, day 2. What do you think of Georgia? And if you made a Heisman bet, take it away, please.
I'm in on Georgia. It's weird to say about a Georgia team that they're under the radar because, back-to-back national titles. And then they went into that SEC title game undefeated, got upset by Bama, and then the last 2 years, bad exits in the quarterfinal. Never should have lost that game to Ole Miss, but sounds like they've got the defense back on track. They used to just be loaded with pros, and I think the NIL has spread out the talent where they're just not, too deep in NFL guys at every position. But it sounds like more of a Georgia Kirby Smart-esque defense this year. They've always got skill guys, running backs, pro tight ends, receivers, you name it. So I think the schedule breaks their way. They don't play Texas. They don't play LSU. They don't play A&M. They don't play Tennessee. They play Oklahoma, but that's at home. Two kind of tough games, at Bama, at Ole Miss. If you can split those, and I think they'll probably be small favorites in both of them, a one-loss SEC team in the SEC title game, I think Stockton's very live in that 20-1 range for Heisman, and I think Georgia plus 320 at FanDuel to win the SEC is a good bet. 9-10-1 to win the whole thing. I don't think this is going to be a year. Now, we're never thinking it's going to be a year where a 50-1 shot wins the national title like last year, but I think this is more of a chalk year in college football, and I think Georgia is a good bet at those numbers with that schedule.
Interesting you mentioned it being a chalk year in college football. If you look at the NFL odds board, I want to go back to it for a second, Will. You have the Rams as a short shot, and they're like 500, 550, give or take. Then you got a zillion teams, it feels like, from like 10-1 to 20-1. From Baltimore and Buffalo all the way until you hit Detroit and Cincinnati. That's like 9, 10, 11 different teams. Give me one in the AFC and one in the NFC you like.
I mean, how often do you get the Chiefs and Mahomes at 16-1? That would be my default there. Now, we saw the Brady Patriots. I think people have this perception, they just, they won the Super Bowl every year. They were in the Super Bowl every year. That's not true. They had a 10-year lull without winning one. They made a couple, but are we going to have that lull from the Chiefs? Are they going to bounce back at 16-1? I don't think that's a bad bet. I don't think the Vikings are going to the Super Bowl, but it was only a couple years ago. They were 14-2 playing for the 1 seed that Sunday night. And ever since that night, everything's just gone sideways. They got crushed by Detroit. They got crushed by the Rams the next week. And then last year, even though they finished over 500, got away from them. They had no quarterback. But they went 9-8 with maybe the worst quarterback play outside of the Jets in the league.
I agree.
They got skill guys. They got a defense. I don't love O'Connell. I think he's a little overrated, but Flores is tremendous as a defensive coach. I think their defense will be very good. In the 50-60-1 range for Minnesota, 50-1, I mean, could they win 11 games and be in the second round, and then you can figure out that ticket going from there? I wouldn't be surprised. I think that number is a little high on Minnesota at 50-1, even though I'm not a Murray fan, and you got questions. If he can be a B-, C+, league average-ish quarterback, there's a lot around him.
I totally agree, and I'm shocked they become a polarizing team just because of what you said, which he's not a stud, but he's a significant upgrade at that position with a big-time coach, and everything went wrong, and they pointed out how many games they still won last year in spite of the horrible quarterback play.
Yeah, absolutely. And another team I like, too, and I think this team is becoming a little trendy, Atlanta a little over 4-1 to win the NFC South. That's not a division where you have to win 12 or 13 games, you wouldn't think. They've got skill guys. They've got a good defense. I actually bet them last year right around Thanksgiving at like 100-1 to win the division. They needed to win out. They lost a game they never should have lost to the Jets, and it was dead right away. But then they ran the table after that. And that's a division where you can win it with maybe 9, 10 games, 11 at most, I think. I don't really trust Tampa. New Orleans, I know everyone's high on. We'll see. Carolina, okay. But I think Atlanta, with a massive, massive upgraded coach, a living, breathing head coach for a change with Stefanski, even if you're not a big Stefanski fan, is a massive upgrade. I think there's some value there on Atlanta, a little over 4-1 to win the division.
All right. I agree with that, too. Thanks for the time, my man. Have a good week. We'll talk to you soon. Appreciate it.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Got it. Will Hill, VSiN host and contributor on the Progressive Guest Line. Should have bet more podcast. Does an excellent job. Coming up, win, lose. Some big tickets cashed in Major League Baseball, especially if you played Home Run Derby. There was another ticket at 25-1 that cashed as well. And we'll kick this around up next. This is the number one win total over bet, and they won 4 games last year. I'm stunned. That's coming up on VSiN Follow the Money.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
All right, I'm glad we mentioned this yesterday because it continues. The overs in the WNBA. 4 games yesterday. They all went over. The 25-8 run, if you take out Golden State, these are like 102, 101, 99, 95. They're flying over. And there's 6 games tomorrow before the All-Star break. 2 are in the afternoon at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Mystics, Golden State over, 145.5 up to 149, and Mystics money line plus 350 as they ended Golden State's 7-game winning streak. MLB, a lot happened. I thought this would be an under. The Guardians were awesome. Joe Ryan had nothing. They exploded. The daily specials market, Guardians most runs, 25-1. Red Sox, 14 wins in a row. Try to equal the franchise record tonight in the longest winning streak in team history since 1946. Phillies took money, right side, 140 up to 165. That was ice cream, along with the Brewers, 180 up to 225. Home run derby. Trey Turner, 2 home runs, 75-1. Mookie Betts, 65-1. Hoskins, 65-1. Your guy Chisholm, 50-1. Alvarez, 20, 25-1. Depends where you shop as well. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in, we'll put you on. I know a lot of people have never hit a royal flush, or maybe they can count them on one hand in their life. How about Vital Vegas? He tweeted this out. JJ, he hit 2 royal flushes in the same day. Here's one on a quarter dealt. I think it was a progressive, hearts dealt. Then he goes, okay, I'm feeling good. I'm going to step it up, goes to the dollar denomination, and then bangs another one for $4,000. Again, there are people who haven't hit this in their life. And a guy hit 2 in the same day, playing single play with the Royale with cheese. There's the other one for $4,000.
Pauly, I think the only time I've seen a royal flush, and most of the decent audience is going to be like, JJ, what are you talking about? The Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap movie is the only time I've seen a royal flush. And this is someone that plays a whole lot of poker. I do not get involved with the video poker when I make my way out to Circa. You could see me outside the VSiN studios on the craps tables yelling and screaming or playing some blackjack.
That's what I hear, yeah. That's what I hear.
Oh, it's worth it. I will tell you this, Pauly. I don't like to talk up my game because, as we know, there's not much game involved with craps and blackjack. But from an entertainment standpoint, I promise you, my friend, I am worth the price of admission.
I have heard that.
But I've never seen a royal flush, so it's good to see it actually can happen and does exist. So good for that gentleman or lady.
No better place to be at a casino at a hot dice table. No doubt about it, how loud it is. But the other thing, too, it's one thing to hit 2 royals in a day. The first one was dealt. The second one, he held 1 card. He held the queen, and it came 10 ace, jack, king to get it. Unbelievable. All right, this is in your backyard. This is in Lincoln Center. And this is why you can't get tickets to this thing. That's the Odyssey on 70 millimeter. Now, that's from the projectionist who took a picture of it. This is not even the same sport or ball game what we're talking about, what Nolan is doing. And I think there's only 30 or 40 of these in the country, but there's one in your backyard, Lincoln Center. There's only one in Las Vegas. Now, I don't like that they're packed in like sardines. You couldn't pay me, though, to be in the front row. I mean, that's got to be a stiff neck. You got to get a massage for 3 hours afterwards. But that is an incredible picture. And what this is, how from the projectionist in 70 millimeter with Odyssey. That is banana. Go see that at Lincoln Center, JP.
Well, Pauly, I can get connected from time to time. I may have to talk to a guy who knows the guy who knows the guy who can get me seats that are going to guarantee me that I'm not in that front row.
Don't be in the front row.
There is absolutely nothing. No. Pauly, there is nothing worse than going to a movie. And, this was before the days of assigned seating where, it was like a first come, first serve type deal. If you get to the movie late, I had some instances where I was in the front row of a movie theater. It's what I honestly wanted to walk out of the movie. It doesn't matter how good it is. It's just insufferable, intolerable, and not enjoyable in any way, shape, or form. But, man, I think that's the way I got to go see the Odyssey. Come on.
Nuts. Absolutely spectacular how he shot that. Sports calendar never stops. Sharp Plays covers it all. Winning for 15 straight years, all of it documented and posted publicly at sharpplays.com. When they move, the books take notice. Advanced AI, trusted insider intel. They find the value before the numbers shift. Respected, watched, and feared. Get the telegram, get the plays, the daily Mr. Poison tweets, sharpplays.com. Okay, so you're a New Yorker, but you're also objective. I cannot believe the most bet team to go over their win total at numerous sports books, the Giants, at 7.5. They are the worst team in that division. They won 4 games last year. I think it's already Dart and Scadaboo are walking around like they're back-to-back Super Bowl champions with how they carry themselves. It's not if, it's when Dart gets hurt. And between a brutal schedule and that division, and it's still a work in progress, and I love Harbaugh, but it's going to take time. They're not going to go over 7.5. And I am shocked that is the most bet team at numerous sports books. What say you?
Here's my feeling on it, Paulie. I think a lot of people, and I think a lot of bettors, are profiling the Giants, and they're trying to make the case that it's last year's New England Patriots. Dumpster fire of a team, second-year quarterback, but the coaching was so nightmarish that somebody is going to come in, John Harbaugh being that somebody, and is going to give him instant credibility, snap a finger, and turn the program around in the same way that Mike Vrabel was able to turn the Patriot program around. Here's the big problem with that take, and here's the big difference between the Patriots of last year and the Giants of this year. The Patriots played a last-place schedule in the AFC. They also played an AFC East where they got 4 automatic wins against Miami and against the New York Jets, and they found themselves division champions. The Giants have 2 games with Philly. They have 2 games with Dallas. Washington, as you mentioned, was in the NFC title game 2 years ago, and I have my questions about them, but Jane Daniels plays. I like Washington more than I like the Giants, and the rest of the conference is really good. So I think the Giants will be a much improved team. I think they'll be far more competitive. I think they'll be better coached. I don't see how they're getting the 9 or 10 wins with this team. I don't think there's enough there. And I didn't even mention Paulie Malik Neighbors. You mentioned it, Dart and Scadaboo. What's the deal with Malik Neighbors? When is he coming back and playing for this team? If I had to bet it, it won't be one of my favorite bets. But if I had to bet it, I would take the under at 7.5.
Okay, so you mentioned the Bengals, but is your strongest future Saints to win the division? Saints over? What do you want to do with the Saints?
I love the way the New Orleans Saints finished the season last year. And the NFC South, to me, is a division you got to go and attack. You got to go and attack that division because Tampa Bay, flawed to say the least. They lose Mike Evans. I feel like the bottom is about to fall out from that franchise. Everyone keeps talking up Atlanta, Paulie. Do they realize who the quarterbacks are? Like, I like Kevin Stefanski. I like pieces on that roster. Their 2 quarterbacks are either Tua, who at this stage of the game is 1 hit away from being done. Yeah. He can't move. He can't throw. He was so cooked in Miami. Now all of a sudden he's going to find himself physically. I don't buy it. Michael Penix didn't exactly light the world on fire. So I don't get the case for taking Atlanta at all. And I'm not a Carolina guy. So to me, you have an emerging quarterback in Tyler Shough. I think Kellen Moore can coach. I liked what I saw from that defense, especially in the second half of the year. It's one of my favorites right now. New Orleans to go and win the NFC South is a bet you should go and make.
Okay, very good. That's a tough division, no doubt. And I'm with you with Atlanta as well. Who's going to be the quarterback? And also, you're going to be pro Stefanski. That's one thing. But certainly 1 hit, and that's it for Tua as well. The Cincinnati thing is to put them right up there with Baltimore, though. I think that's aggressive. And Baltimore.
I would agree with that. Yeah. But I think getting to 10 wins with that schedule, Paulie, is very manageable.
Yeah.
But the bet that you're making is the bet on the health of Joe Burrow and how many games you're going to get. Joe Burrow goes and misses 6 to 8 weeks. You might be lighting those tickets on fire outside of Circa. Yeah. Or I might be doing it outside of Lincoln Center, waiting to go see the Odyssey. I don't know.
I think I'm excited to see what McDaniel does with Herbert and what that can look like. Because say all you want about, he was a great coordinator with the Niners, and it didn't work out in Miami, although he took them to the playoffs a couple times. Roman was so bad last year with the play calling, and he had no protection. I want to see the gadget stuff and the creativity and what that can look like with the Chargers and Herbert. And hopefully the kid can finally win a playoff game. FTM@vsin.com, the email. You can tweet at us as well. The tip jar is still open. 15 minutes away. You guys have been creative. You're ready to go. Even Chernoff getting in on the fun with a ticket that he likes. And we'll get to Tip Jar Pizzeria coming up in 15 minutes. Up next, the MLB card. Daily specials. How about most strikeouts? How about an 8-1 and a 16-1? And we'll go through the card with some good picks coming up. And you won't believe the numbers this pitcher has in the first inning. Coming up on Follow the Money VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM Channel 158.